Any question, the more we get vaccinated, the less will die. We know that. And these vaccines are very, very, very safe. We can never say never, but they are absolutely very safe. From the standpoint of the vaccine calculator, all the information's there. It'll help you and guide you when your shots are due. From the standpoint of all the information on our vaccine info line, it's all up there on our website. From the standpoint of outbreaks, 67 in our long-term care facilities, none in our church community, 24 inmates and 20 staff cases today. I remind you that homeowners assistance program is still available to you. It's extremely big dollars and everything. If we can get you qualified, all you got to do is call us and see if we can get you qualified. From the standpoint of giving blood, over and over, I say check with your physician. And if they're good to go and everything, please consider giving blood. You know, I'll be in a couple more communities this week and everything, talking about, Amendment 2. I'll be in Fairmont on tomorrow, and on Thursday I'll be in Kaiser and Moorfield. I am there not from the standpoint of creating a food fight. I'm not there for that reason whatsoever. I'm there just to educate our folks, and today we made a monumental announcement. We found a way to get rid of your car tax without changing the Constitution of this state, which has been in place since 1932. Please, let's absolutely vote on the merits of Amendment 2, and the merits now are just plain and simple, and that is this. Do you want to change the Constitution? Do you want to move from county control to Charleston control? And do you really, really want to do that? It's just as simple as just that now. Car tax is off the table. From the standpoint, I guess the only other thing I have is the announcement of a deer hunting season that's coming. It's right on top of us right now, and that's the antlerless deer season. Our DNR does unbelievable work in managing the deer herd. Deer can be destructive, there's no question about that and everything, but they can also be an incredible enjoyment for our hunting populations and our draw and tourism and everything to come to our state. This antlerless season is going to be, I think it is for 2 days, the 15th and 16th of October, and it'll come back for 2 more days, the 26th and 27th of December. And this early season is there for kids, it's there for people with disabilities, and it's there for our senior citizens. So it is a great opportunity to get out, enjoy this incredible foliage. I don't know how it could get any better. I mean, West Virginia is showing off, and I always say that God above is really the one that's showing off. I'll never forget that, in the early spring when the forsythias are just coming in bloom and they get brilliant yellow and everything. A lot of times when I'm driving, I look at them and I say, okay, big guy, you're really showing off right now, and thinking, that God above is just showing us his unbelievable radiant beauty all over this incredible state and all over the world. But nevertheless, get out there and enjoy some time with nature. It'll touch your soul and everything. So thank you so much. That's all I've got.
All right, thank you, Governor. Dr. Inamjad, our State Health Officer, and Secretary of Revenue Dave Hardy are also joining us today and are available for questions. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Stephen Allen Adams with Ogden Newspapers.
Hey, Governor, Stephen Adams of Ogden Newspapers here. Can you talk a little bit more about the plan that I believe you floated the county superintendents about another 5% pay raise for public employees for the next fiscal year, and your plan to possibly do the same the year after that? How much are we expecting that the cost? Thank you.
Okay, Stephen, I'm going to defer to Secretary of Revenue on the cost and everything. I think you're probably looking at about, if I remember correctly, somewhere in the neighborhood of 130 million, some number like that, 120 to 140 million. But nevertheless, we'll go to him. He'll know more precise than I know exactly on that. I mean, here's the whole thing, Stephen, and this is how I see it. We have built incredible surpluses in West Virginia. And we have taken care of the people with 3 pay raises along the way. They've been historic. They've been the largest in history, each and every one of them and everything. But at the end of the day, you know, Stephen, it hasn't slowed us down any, has it? I mean, when it really boils right down to it, we've given historic pay raises and we're still racing forward in a great way. Absolutely, with all in me, I truly believe that we should reward the very people that are helping us. They absolutely are helping us. They're the ones that are absolutely paddling and paddling as hard as they can every day, and they're doing great work. From the standpoint of government and government itself, we have significantly reduced on my watch the number of people that are working in state government. And that's been a heck of an accomplishment. What we have done is we have done exactly what I say over and over, mind the store in a good way. Well, we've done it, and we continue to do it and everything. Now, from the standpoint of floating that up so that, I mean, you know, this is so silly, it's unbelievable. I mean, this is preposterous, but when I was meeting with the superintendents and everything, I talked about PEIA, and I talked about from the standpoint of the need of trying to some way, somehow, keep PEIA funded properly and everything. It's really difficult, really difficult to find a mechanism that is a guaranteed mechanism going forward and everything. And we've had task force, and we've worked on it a whole bunch. It's really hard. But what we've done along the way, you know, is a couple years back, we put, you know, well over $100 million in PEIA just to prop up the funding, and we may very well be in a situation to where we've got to, again, and there's numbers floating around anywhere from 40 to 60 million to 92 million to maybe even a little over 100, but we may very well have to prop that back up as well going forward. But I don't think it'll slow us down. And absolutely, Stephen, I really believe we can do it. But when I mentioned that at the superintendent's meeting, you know, we walked out of there and everything. I felt like superintendents should know that. But from the standpoint of running to the media and saying, Jim said, Jim didn't do that, did he? And absolutely, with all in me, you know, it's almost comical. It's almost comical when other political leaders said, oh, yeah, I'd do that too. You know, well, I mean, you know, really, you know, at the end of the day, I really hope that what we can do is get through the 4th pay raise of another 5% to all of our state employees. And then before I go out the door, if we continue to stay on a good path and we continue to do well in the state of West Virginia, I'd like to do the 5th. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you know, it may very well be that things don't go well, and it may very well be the legislature decides that they don't want to do that and whatever. But I think we should do that. You know, we should reward all state employees, but as we're trying to attract better and better, you know, in our teaching community and everything, from the standpoint of our teachers. Absolutely, I believe, and I believe this, Stephen, I believe it with all in me. I believe we can absolutely do better, no question whatsoever. And I believe that we've got real room above us to significantly move, and I want our test scores to be better and lots of stuff. But I would tell you just this. If you haven't been in the schools, there's a heck of a lot more going on in the schools than test scores. And there's a heck of a lot of good going on in our schools. Absolutely, I would bet you just about everything I own in the world, for the most part, the majority of their kids love their teachers. Well, they love their teachers for a reason. The teachers are loving those kids. And absolutely, I'll bet you with all in me that communities love their school. The majority of the community takes a lot of pride and loves their school. Well, they wouldn't do that, Stephen, if we had it all wrong. And absolutely, we got a lot of good going on, a lot of good going on, and those folks work really hard, and I want to try to help them. That's all there is to it. Now, from the standpoint of the other thing is, We got 3,000 families from the Hope Scholarship that are standing on the sidelines right now, and we need that resolved. I mean, that's all there is to it, because they need to have choice. Now, I really am a real believer. We don't need to pull those dollars necessarily out of public funds. You know, we may be able to set up a bucket that basically has $25 million in it, and the bucket is continually funded from the state from the standpoint every year, and therefore we don't have to pull those dollars away from public, but we can still give real choice, and we can help the folks that are out there, you know, and you know, that elect to go to a private school, whatever, you know, charter school, whatever it may be. So we need to get that off the bubble. But anyway, Stephen, you know, I think Dave can speak real quick and tell you the cost, you know, more accurately. But Secretary Hardy, if you could,
Sure.
if you could tell us that, please, sir.
Sure, Stephen. It's about 1 percentage point equals about $24 million from the General Revenue Fund. So a 5% pay raise would be roughly $120 million from the General Revenue Fund budget.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Next to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good afternoon, Governor and fellow reporters. Governor, regarding this rebate on the car tax, the vehicle tax, do you plan to call a special session of the legislature to do this? Do you have a date set in mind? Would it be before or after the election? And you floated this idea for some time that you might have some type of rebate, and there are critics already concerned that this is going to create a paperwork nightmare, that people will pay their taxes, have to fill out a form to get the rebate, and this will put an undue burden on the tax department to get checks back to people that maybe they shouldn't have had a right in the first place. So if you could address, again, the timing of the special session and the issue of the workload it might create.
Mark, I really believe it's going to be difficult to do before the election, but we could drop it in between, you know, when we come back, you know, for a regular session and after the election. I think that's going to be a little difficult, you know, to do from that standpoint. From the standpoint of the difficulty, for, you know, with our tax department, you know, the tax department was heavily involved in creating this system for us. I mean, for crying out loud, you know, I don't know why in the world they would be heavily involved in creating this system and then say, oh gosh, this is going to cause undue problems for them in every way. I think that's a little much. But you know, people that are coming up with an excuse or bush to hide behind or whatever like that, you know, more power to them. But all I'm trying to do is take an issue off the table, get money back to our people and everything, our hardworking folks. From the standpoint of the taxpayer, you know, having to take some extra time to fill something out or whatever like that, I think we can figure that out. I think we can find a way to do something, you know, that's going to benefit us from the standpoint of not having to pay our car taxes. We'll figure that out on how to do that. But maybe, you know, Secretary Hardy, if you got anything to say on that.
Sure do. But Mark, I've talked extensively to our tax commissioner, Commissioner Matt Irby, and we are ready, willing, and able, and tax is ready and has the technology available to get a rebate program up and running pretty quickly. They have a very sophisticated system there, computer system. They're required by IRS guidelines to have that. Most of the requirements for tax are handed down by the IRS. So we vetted that very carefully before we would even agree and propose an idea. And it will be an online application, or perhaps you can do it by paper. Either way, it will be a very simple application, probably take 5 to 10 minutes to fill out, and tax is very well equipped to return money to the public. That's what they do every day.
Come back to me if I could just say one other thing, and it's just as simple as this. This is a way of getting money to the taxpayers without taking it from the counties. I mean, that's all there is to it. It's just as simple as that. We won't have to take money from the counties, and absolutely we'll be able to get the money back to the taxpayers and take care of this issue and get it off the table.
All right, thanks, Mark. Next to Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Just to follow up on Mark's question, Governor, have you talked with the legislative leadership about this act? You'd need their support to pass this. Have you spoken to them about it? Thank you.
I have not. I have not, Charles. You know, from the standpoint we've been so round and round, and I defer to Chairman Householder. You know, how many times have we offered compromise, stalemate, stonewall, block? You see, because Charles, the car tax has never really been the issue. I have said over and over that I would be all for getting rid of the car tax. Then I really think what we need to do is we need to get on a pathway of trying to get rid of our personal income tax. I'm not putting words in his mouth, but I think Chairman Householder believes exactly the same thing. You know, from the standpoint of getting rid of the car tax and everything, we've got the money to be able to do it. Let's do it. Let's just do it. I mean, for God's sakes, a living, what in the world is wrong with us, especially as Republicans? What in the world is wrong with us? We have got absolutely people out there that are hurting with inflation, eating them alive. I mean, we got to help those folks. I mean, for crying out loud, we got surplus after surplus after surplus, and we didn't just get those by rolling off the pickle truck. I mean, that's all there is to it. You know, remember, when I came into play, all we could figure out to do was cut. Now, I'm not patting myself on my back because a lot of people, a lot of folks have helped in a lot of ways. But we didn't have any ideas until Jim Justice got here. And now all of a sudden we're off and going like a blooming rocket ship. And Jim Justice is telling you, absolutely, we need to get money back to our folks, the workers of the state of West Virginia. Not only will it help in every way help them, they'll spend those dollars. And when they spend those dollars, the multiplier effect of those dollars creates our own in-house stimulus package. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't know how in the world Republicans have been offered a 10% tax cut to all people. Boom, do it tomorrow. We've got the surpluses and everything. Do it tomorrow. And we shut the whole world down, didn't we? And the reason we shut the whole world down didn't have anything to do with the car tax. It had everything to do with the machinery and inventory tax, and they had to have all the money to be able to do it.
All right, thanks, Charles. Governor, back to you.
Okay, that's all I got right now. Listen, it's a big day, monumental day. Let's, if we're going to vote on Amendment 2, what is Amendment 2 about? Amendment 2 is about changing the Constitution of the state of West Virginia. Changing it to where really and truly we allow the legislature to set up the tax situation that they want to set up. That's what Amendment 2 really is all about, is shifting counties, a guaranteed income stream that counties have, basically to shifting it to Charleston, and then Charleston saying, we're going to give you the money back. In fact, we're not only going to give you the money back, we're going to give you a chicken in every pot. We're going to give you something else. And what if it doesn't happen? You know, that's the very thing you've got to be concerned about. Now you've got an income stream that's guaranteed. You want to change the Constitution? It's up to you. It's up to you. Everybody wants the car tax. So I've found a way to do it. I've found a way to do it and take it off the table. Let's take it off the table and let's vote on Amendment 2, on the merits of Amendment 2. Let's just do that. And then whatever the vote is, I'll respect the vote wholeheartedly. Thank you so much. That's all I got. Thank you.